Coming to you from scenic the basement at ICN Studios in Brooklyn, I'm Jana Jefferson, and this is And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Every other week, me and a new guest host each time are going to discuss the latest in pop culture, the industry, life, and much more. And today's guest is none other than Wize Grazette! Woo! You guys might know Wize from behind the scenes. He's the producer who's always making fun of me for my viewpoints. But now he's on the other side. And he's here to have some fun. So how are you today, Wize?
I'm good. You know, it was supposed to snow, so I had low expectations for today.
I sure did too.
But I came outside today and it looked great. It felt kind of great until it got windy. So, you know, I'm just ready for the springtime.
Oh, yeah. I think we only have maybe like 7 days left of winter officially.
Really?
I think the solstice starts either March 20th or March 21st. So.
As long as it gets to 65 or 70.
That's like my range where I'm most happy because it's not too hot. It's not too cold. What movie is that? Miss Congeniality. They're like, all you need is a light jacket. That's how I feel when it's like 65 to 70 degrees. It's so comfortable. It's the best kind of weather. So anyway, before each episode officially begins, we give our Beyonce mood of the day, as you know.
Yep.
Did you give any time to think about it?
I did when I was walking over here. So that video from I think it's self-titled.
Is it Beyonce?
Whichever one where she was like on the patio dancing.
On the patio dancing?
Yeah, she was on the patio dancing with like her dancers and stuff, whatever. They were in like a hotel.
7-Eleven.
Yeah, and I like that one a lot.
Why is that?
It's just very energetic. It's one of the first times that I looked at Beyonce different, like not like as like a singer, you know, just as a singer,
just
whatever.
Like a regular gal.
Yeah, like I was like, it kind of gave me. I mean, I don't want nobody. I don't want the
normal vibes.
I don't want the stands. I don't want the stands come for me, but it gave me a Rihanna vibe, so I liked it a lot. So.
I'd say mine is right now it's Baby Boy because Wize and I got really, really hungry before this. So we got some Golden Crust on Flatbush Avenue. And right now I'm eating a meat patty and I'm staying true to my Jamaican roots and trying to make sure that I am nice and fulfilled. I was so hungry.
Yeah, and I was starving too. And I mean, you know what's funny is that was supposed to be my song. My mood of the day actually as well, but I changed it because I was like, I don't want to just do something so simple.
No, this was definitely the mood. Because you know, all my Beyonce mood of the days are like either sad, tired, or angry.
Yeah.
So I need something that like gave me that island flair to fit in with my meat patty consumption. So, listeners, remember there's a Spotify playlist for the Beyonce mood of the day. Search Beyonce mood of the day and follow it. Simple as that. Each song mentioned by myself and my and friends to start off the show have been and will be added to the playlist after each episode. So you can stay up to date because there's a tour coming. I told you guys episodes ago, get the Slavings account in check because she's coming.
She's coming.
I knew it. You know what? As soon as she put that like vegan thing, she's like, do you follow her on Instagram?
I do not.
Oh my God, Wize.
Yeah, she's not Rihanna. I love her.
Okay, all right. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
But last time, when Beyonce went like vegan, I guess the last time on social media. Oh, let me fix that. That's my fault. Last time she went vegan on social media, she dropped self-titled out of thin air, and she just posted a picture of some vegan cupcakes. Like right after it, I'm like, girl. So after she did her Coachella, she put a couple pictures from her Coachella practices because Coachella is in like 2 weeks or something. And then she put like, vegan meal, be vegan with me. I'm like, now I know good and well that I'm not going to be vegan for long because I have to save my money to be in the Beehive. My friends and I are trying to figure out like what show we want to go to. I think we're going to end up going to Washington, D.C.'s show, mostly because the Newark show, I'm going to be in Miami for my birthday that same day. And then I think the 30th, which is a Monday, is Philly, which would be the second closest. But I'm like, I don't want to go to Philadelphia on a Monday and then try to rush back for work on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, yeah.
So
I mean, that's really close though.
Yeah, Washington, D.C. is not that bad. It's like 4-hour drive.
Yeah, but Philly's like 2.
Oh, yeah, but like...
it's Philly.
Philly's not as fun as New York.
That's
One.
Fair. That's fair.
2, since I'm already like taking off like later in that week for my birthday, I'm like, let's not like add more annoyance. So do a nice leisurely drive down to Washington D.C. if we can get the tickets.
Yeah,
and then be blessed.
You got Tidal?
I don't, but I signed up for the Beehive like pre-sale.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let me move this light real quick. It's blinding me. Oh my God, I can't see.
Also, guys, Wize is also he's pulling like all the jobs right now. He's being the producer. He's, just being Wize. If you don't know, Wize is the creator and founder of the ICN, the Indie Creative Network. We'll get more into that in a little bit. So you know that we do Talk of the Town. And besides the Bruno Mars thing, which I did not want to rehash again, Craig Mack passed away at the age of 46 from heart failure.
Rest in peace.
He sang...
Here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Yo, that song was so pivotal in my life.
Now here's... Okay. I think it's because I'm young.
Probably.
But I know Flavor in Your Ear. When I woke up this morning, I saw that he passed away, and I'm like, oh, like who's that? And I know I suck because like that's my job. I should know, but I'm so young and I don't know everybody. But I do know that song.
But see, you know what? I mean, that's really what.
And
it
that's
is.
like was one of his only songs.
I mean, no. He had more songs.
I'm sure he did.
But
that was like the song.
I don't know them neither. That was the
Here
song.
comes
Exactly.
a brand new flavor in here.
Yo, we need today. Whenever y'all listen to this podcast, and like, don't pause this. Keep going. But go on your computer and watch that video because that video had so much energy. Like Flavor in Your Ear was just. It was different.
And then I listened to the remix because I had never heard the remix before either. These are all new things to me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I know enough, and then I'm like, nope, just kidding. Like, who passed away like last year out of the hip hop community? I forget his name.
A lot of people passed away.
Prodigy.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that was
I didn't know too much about him either, so I was like, let me just like put my head down and start writing about something else because I don't want to embarrass myself. Because like obviously I work in a field where everyone's like, you don't know this person, that person. I'm like, no, like sorry.
It's like they want you to come with like an encyclopedia of
exactly. I'm just like I don't have the time to digest all of this, but like just be thankful I know the song. Like, that's good enough. But he died at the age of 46 from heart failure. And we need to start taking better care of ourselves. If all these like rappers are dying so young, like I don't know, Prodigy died at like 45.
Yeah, his situation was different though. He had sickle cell.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, did someone said he choked on an egg?
He choked. I mean, that I don't know. Like I know that people had mentioned that. I don't know.
I hope that's like wow,
true or not. But I mean, his sickle cell that he battled with his whole upbringing.
That's like something that is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, too. But I mean, with Craig, like in regards to Craig Mack and his heart, like people really do have to take better care of themselves. At the same time, like heart failure. Your heart is I mean, it's a vital piece of your life.
It is your life.
It is really your life. It's like your life force. At the same time, things can happen to it at the drop of a dime. You know, so. I don't really want to. I can't really speculate. Yeah, but rest in peace. I pray for his family.
Yeah, and apparently now I don't know if this is real. I once again I don't know if I'm going to speculate, but I heard that like obviously he was like Bad Boy's like first signee, right? But I heard that like Diddy kind of like dropped him a little bit as soon as Biggie got big. Like he's just like the dog, like the pet dog that gets a little old and they get a puppy, and then that was kind of what happened.
Okay, so that might not be speculation. That might actually be true fact.
See, learn something new every day.
This afternoon, matter of fact, I was on Twitter and someone, there was like a this people do like these threads or whatnot, and they said that Pac actually has signed Craig Mack to what was Pac's label?
Tupac Machiavelli?
Yeah, to like Machiavelli East. Right, and he was on his way to, I guess, like sign a deal or organize the whole deal and have the conversation or whatever, and that's when Pac got shot. Yeah, so there's a lot of like backstory that we don't know.
Oh,
I mean, hip hop history is deep.
Wait, is it the first time he got shot, like in the New York studio, or the nail in the coffin, so to speak?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So lots of hip hop history.
Oh boy.
Lots of hip hop history.
I heard that Diddy does that a lot though. Like he like is like loves one artist and then like a second later he like finds someone else and is like, oh, who's that?
I mean, well, you know, we could look at the history of Bad Boy Records and you know, we can see the like artists
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the artists that, you know, were popping for a while and then, you know, the numbers wasn't not adding up and on to the next one.
Yeah, because I heard that Craig Mack's first album only went like gold, and I guess Diddy was but like, whatever.
But to gold, I mean,
that's
even
still
then,
really
still,
awesome.
yeah,
like
to go gold on
like,
CD
wow.
with CDs, like that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't think the project. Matter of fact, never mind. I'm gonna just hold that. I'm gonna hold that one to myself.
Okay.
Anyway.
So like I said, like. I'm a younger gal in this hip hop industry, so like a lot of people don't really like know Craig Mack.
Yeah.
So what do you think that like older generations could do a better job, or is it like our responsibility to be like, I have to find everything out about like Craig Mack and all these people that I don't know?
Nah. I mean, it's with hip hop still being so young, you know, we are still all learning how to, you know, conserve our history. And, you know, present our history to our younger audiences, you know, or to the young. I'm not a part of hip hop history anymore. So a part of, you know, we're trying to find ways to, you know, present it. You know, that's kind of what we do with ICN, and that's kind of what a lot of companies are doing. I mean, even back to Diddy and Revolt, you know, people are trying to find ways to present, you know, history, hip hop history, to the masses. You know, it's a trial and error process, just like hip hop was a trial and error process, or the growth of hip hop was a trial and error process. You know, so I'm sure there will be like a balance. I do not expect every person. Craig Mack legit had one song that I knew, and I grew up when Craig Mack was popping. I don't expect somebody who was born, you know, 10 years after me.
Yeah, the song came out when in 1994.
I couldn't even tell you.
Let's find out.
I don't even know.
If it came out in 1994, I was 1 year old. 1 year. Sorry, plural. Sorry. Craig Mack, Flavor in Your Ear.
Might have been like 95 though.
Still too young to remember. I don't think I formed memory. 1994. I didn't form memories until I feel like my first memory was my sister being born, and I was like almost 4.
Wow.
I don't remember much before that.
Well, I mean, yes, I'm saying like I don't expect every, especially, I mean, if you were an artist and you were a rapper and you loved Bad Boy, I would expect you then to know who Craig Mack was. You know, even if you were an artist and you know, I mean, I can't even expect not every artist can, everyone's gonna have differences in like what they like and stuff. And even when you become an artist, you spending so much time making your music, pushing your music, I don't expect you to pick up no goddamn history book. You know, I mean, again, if Craig Mack was a bigger piece of hip hop, I would be like, yeah, you know, but he's not Pac, he's not Big, he's not Jay, he's not, no, you go down the line of people, whatever, he doesn't fall underneath that, whatever, but he still fits within, you know, the history
of hip-hop, especially, you know, since like the 90s were such a time for hip hop. Well, hopefully, I don't know, I guess if you're a younger rapper right now, like who's young? Lil Yachty's young. Yeah. It's Lil Pump. He's young. I feel like they should like maybe study up, because you know that people are gonna ask them like, "Oh, what did you think about like Craig Mack's passing?" And they're gonna be like,
"You think really they're gonna do some studying? You really think so?"
I know they're not gonna study, but I feel like they should like have an answer on tab for situations such as that.
The answer might be Flavor in Your Ear. They might start singing a verse.
At least that's a verse. It's like that's a song though.
Couple bars. You know.
Because you hear about who's that new one? Lil Xan.
I knew said he was gay.
About he's like, nah, Tupac's music is boring.
Okay.
So it's like,
I mean,
you can't like be. I feel like if you're a young rapper and you're trying to come up in the game, you still have to like. You don't have to like the musician, but you do have to respect them.
Yeah. You know, like you don't have to be a Pac fan. Like, I'm not a Pac fan, you know? That doesn't mean that I'm not going to say pop music is boring. Pop music might not be for me, but it's not boring because millions upon millions of people like that shit. Millions of people like that shit. And especially if you are in hip hop, you know,
you have to pay respect where respect is due.
I mean, okay, I could say some shit like, you know, Elvis Presley was whack, you know, and people will be upset, whatever. But I'm not into what was it, rock?
Walking through the party at the camp.
That's not my that ain't my lane, you know. So of course I'm not gonna understand.
Now Elvis had some good songs though.
Good songs that he stole from other people. So I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Anyway.
No, I feel. Oh, you know what? I guess since we're here, why don't we just segue into this Bruno Mars conversation? So if you guys hadn't heard, there was a video series called The Grapevine that discusses different topics that millennials could talk about, which I'm all about. I love when millennials get a chance to discuss things because no one really likes to give us the chance to talk because of our age and all that stuff. But that's another story for another day. But the topic was basically, is Bruno Mars a cultural appropriator?
Yeah.
Now, the clip that went around, there was a young woman. She basically said, like, yes, he is because he's not black. And he's getting popular off of doing the music that black people made. And then she said that it's like basically an injustice that he won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year when Prince never won it, which was a stupid argument. And then she said something else about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson would have to fight twice as hard to be accepted if he was coming up today, basically, because of people like Bruno Mars. But that's like dumb. Not even true.
That's dumb.
At all.
That's dumb.
And here's the reasons why Bruno Mars is not a cultural appropriator. One, he always cites where he gets his inspiration from. Yeah. All the time. Like even on the Grammy stage, like we talked about this a couple episodes ago. He even said, like, when he was getting the Album of the Year win, he's like, if this album wouldn't have existed if not for Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Teddy Riley, and Babyface. And Babyface helped him on the album.
Babyface.
If
you don't know who Babyface is,
then that's something you need to Google because he's done everything. But it's like, how can you say that he's stealing music? First of all, Bruno Mars has been doing quote unquote black music since he came out. Like there was another girl in the video who said like, oh no, he started out doing like pop and doo-wop. First of all, doo-wop was black music too.
Because people be talking from a perspective of ignorance. And not ignorance in a negative sense, but you don't
You're
know.
Not like using your brain. You're just spouting all these accusations and assumptions. Black music is doo-wop, rock, country, hip hop, New Jack. And I feel like that's when people got mad because they're like, oh, he's doing New Jack Swing and that's a black music. It's like, well, maybe if you guys didn't abandon New Jack Swing back in the 90s thinking it was corny as hell, and if people didn't want to try to be like Migos clones and try to do something like New Jack again, anyone could have done it. Yeah. It's just Bruno Mars was inspired, did it damn well, and now everyone wants to be mad.
You know, I'm gonna quote Quana from our little group chat on Twitter.
Shout out to Quana.
She said that not everybody wants to listen to pussy slapping R&B.
Woo!
That quote had me dead, but it's true though.
It is true.
You know, there are a lot of artists that can sing their ass off, right? A lot of those artists make pussy slapping music. Now, when you in that phase, when you in that place to do such activities, by all means, place that's something to play. When you're not, what are you gonna listen to? And it's either, I mean, there aren't really that many choices. Like I'm not a big Bruno fan, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like that. I love Miguel.
Oh man, Miguel is that guy.
Miguel got tunes. You understand? So it's just like, but there aren't that many people. Chris Brown's still putting out 48 songs per album or whatnot.
None of them. I still haven't heard that album.
I still haven't heard neither. But I can promise you one thing: none of them didn't sound like what Miguel or
Bruno Mars come out with.
So it's just like
they're doing something original and different. And then I hate when people try to bring race into everything. Like, here's another thing, and I know some people like don't agree. I don't really care. Bruno Mars is Latino. Mm-hmm. Latinos are black.
Yes.
They are black. You go far, far into their lineage, you're gonna find some chocolate.
Not even that much far.
Not even that far. And he's Puerto Rican and Jewish and Filipino. And his dad looks dark. Like in old pictures. And that's a darker man.
As I'm saying, like a lot of people are speaking from this space of ignorance. Like my first question, whenever you really ask somebody, something as defining as is Bruno Mars a cultural appropriator? What does cultural appropriation mean to you? Mm-hmm. And who can culturally appropriate and who can't? Those are things that people need to have like a base of understanding before they start putting their goddamn foot in their mouth. Mm-hmm. Like, bruh, I don't know I don't know how much more black he had to be just because he may not. Just because he looks racially ambiguous. There's a lot of people that look racially ambiguous. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck?
Doesn't mean that he's like, that's just so dumb. And then someone said something like, oh no, he's got a perm. His hair was getting long regardless. When he did the Super Bowl, he had it shaved on the sides and it was long and curly in the front. That same texture that he has now, he just grew out the sides. Like, he's always had long curly hair.
Honestly
leave Bruno Mars alone.
Yeah, like you can't fight with some people. Some people you just gotta let them just do their thing.
It's honestly like people are so butthurt still about the Grammys, acting like the Grammys are defining of people's legacies and talent.
And that's the other thing that doesn't make any sense to me, right?
We need to stop that.
People talk about cultural appropriation, when they're trying to get people their credit. Mm-hmm. That is a fair and I completely understand that, right? But when we talk about cultural appropriation, it's like the sense is that, we have pride in what we have and what we've created. Mm-hmm. Crying over the Grammys, which Black people don't really have too much part in. They don't come up with these, with who actually becomes, a nominee. Mm-hmm. They don't come up with who actually becomes an actual award winner. These things are they don't even really have anything to do with us, to be completely honest. So
like a couple,
begging for a white validation and talking about cultural appropriation at the same time.
That's basically what it is.
Shut the fuck up. Please and thank you.
But what else did someone say? Yeah, like Bruno Mars makes music that everyone can enjoy.
He's a crossover artist.
He dominated the R&B charts with this album, dominated the pop charts. He did adult contemporary with Versace on the Floor, like I said a couple episodes ago. Like, he's hit all the bases he needs to hit, so everyone's hearing his music. Sorry that not everyone hears Kendrick Lamar's music, because he's not going to cross over. He does one style. He does it well, but not everyone's going to hear it.
Yeah, doesn't always cross over, and that's okay.
That's totally fine.
I don't think Kendrick is.
I don't think Kendrick cares.
Crossover artist.
I really don't think Kendrick Lamar cares. Neither does Jay-Z. Jay-Z has 21 of those or 22.
I mean, and then honestly, and in retrospect, again, right? None of these artists are really and truly begging for white validation. Mm-mm. They have millions upon millions of people of all races listening to their music and like them. Mm-hmm. Y'all ain't got 10 people that give a flying fuck about. People don't even call you to ask you how you doing. Like, what's, bruh, come on now.
And then another thing, one last thing. This young woman who said basically like, oh no, Prince never got this, Prince never got that. Prince wouldn't have been accepted if he was coming up today, because he came out and everyone thought he was gay and he had his high-heeled shoes on and wearing purple. Like, you think in the year of our Lord 2018 that Prince Rogers Nelson would have been accepted? You think?
I mean, nah. I mean, I feel like Prince,
he wouldn't have gotten the reach that he has. He would have been called like a gay artist or something.
It would have been difficult for him. It would have been difficult for Prince.
I don't think it would have been difficult for Michael Jackson, though.
No, I don't think so.
Michael
either.
Jackson would have been fine.
Michael, let me not even,
because he did.
Michael Jackson is
thing.
a legend. Michael Jackson is the legend, and
he appropriated some things too. But we ain't gonna talk about
that's
that.
why I said he's a legend. See, I stopped. It's the legend.
We ain't gonna talk about that though.
We're gonna wrap that up.
So that was Talk of the Town, and now we're gonna do questions with the guests. So Wize, give us a little background about you and the Indie Creative Network.
Oh man, I am a first generation Bayesian American.
Shout out to Barbados.
Yes. I was born in Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. I love the amount of people that I've had access to in terms of the differences. Like you can, if you driving the streets of Brooklyn, you pass through neighborhood to neighborhood, you're gonna see different cultures anywhere. Like I know for a fact. I went to school, actually, my 6th grade, I went to school in Coney Island. My first time ever being truly immersed in like a community where there were Jewish people and African Americans. And I had never seen seen those two groups coincide and go to school together and, make friends. Like that wasn't a community that I grew up in, So to see that and to value that, whatever, was important to me. Then I went to school in Bushwick and I saw African Americans and Hispanics, and I went to school back in my neighborhood and I saw all Black people and West Indians, and it just like the diversity, word I've been trying to not use anymore, but the diversity that you get in Brooklyn is one that you really just can't find anywhere else. So with that in mind, I created a company that kind of reflects that. The Indie Creative Network is a digital solutions company. We created a platform called Indie Creative Podcast, which hosts the lovely Anne Friend Show and many other podcasts from the U.S., Canada, South Africa, London, and Mumbai, India. So, very proud of what we've done thus far, and very proud of what we're going to do in the future. Very, very proud.
Awesome. So how did you get interested in digital storytelling?
So, storytelling wise, like it's something I've always done. I've been writing. I was a writer as a child. I was like published when I was like 9 years old in a magazine for short stories. I love telling. I love talking. There was no programs for that when I went to school. Well, in high school or in college, my college didn't have a system like that. So I just kind of veered more so into technology. But when I graduated a couple years later, I got an opportunity to like broadcast part-time at Hunter College. And I love that shit. It was a part of me that I guess had been stored away for a while in terms of storytelling, and hearing other people's stories and sharing them. So I really clung to it. And a couple of months later, I started my own radio show called the Encore Radio Show, where we interviewed artists similar fashion and like this or whatever, just to hear more about their story, push their music, and help them in ways that people didn't really want to at the time. Outside of blogs, no one didn't really care about the underground artists, and I'm using air quotes for that. So that's kind of what got me into digital storytelling, and that turned into podcasts, and that podcast turned into the podcast network, and thus here we are. Now,
did someone give you like a push to create the network, or you're just like, this is what I want to do? Nah.
So with the Encore Radio Show, basically I interviewed artists. And what I realized was that when artists go on press runs, if they Googled, hip hop radio shows, hip hop podcasts or whatever, you get like, a Hot 97, a Power 105.1, you got the Combat Jack show, rest in peace, Combat Jack. And that was about it. But I knew as a podcaster that there were tons of hip hop radio, hip hop podcasts that were out there and whatnot. And I was like, all right, well, how do we get all these shows together? So that was the initial concept of creating the Indie Creative Network. And then I realized that, wait, so we're in this medium of podcasting, and my small subset focuses specifically on hip hop music. But there are people that focus on this, and there are people that focus on that, and people focus on this. And then we have an audience of people who would love to hear about these other shows, but they also don't know where to find them. So I was like, nah, we got to make a hub. We have to find a way to put all this shit together so that people can just come and find out about us. So
awesome. So what do you think are some of the skills that you possess that makes you a good leader in your field?
Oh, man. So I have spent a good part of my life working for other people. a good part of my life working for other people. I worked in customer service as a child. Legit, like when I could get my workers permit when I was like 15, I started working immediately. Yeah, I started working immediately. But then when I graduated, I worked in digital agencies, and I, kind of understood exactly, that overall cycle, like, the design aspect, the creative direction aspect, fulfilling client needs and stuff like that. And just working in technology, like you see how fast technology updates and whatnot, and how many digital solutions there are, and how many people don't actually use them on a regular basis. So from there, I worked in a bunch of other startups and stuff like that, whatever. And startup culture is much different than, regular work life, because you're talking about people who are growing their company as well, and doing it to a point that's so successful that they can hire other people to be a part of that journey. It's a lot of stress. There are a lot of issues. There's the other word, diversity. A lot of issues with diversity, whatever. And there's still not enough space for people. So overall, like my skills really come from the places that I've worked. I mean, I ended up working in corporate America, which was a drag. But it helped me with my structure, understanding exactly, okay, this person does this and this is that department. This person does that and this is that department. So overall, like, my individual skill sets came from places that I've worked, and just my entrepreneurial background. Like I just like to create and I like to help people. So just merge all of that shit together, basically.
Is there anything that you wish you could do better?
Oh, hell yeah. Everything. Oh, my God. I mean, any entrepreneur, any creative who feels like they're doing everything the best ain't dreaming big enough. Like every day I wake up with like a headache. Like, oh, my God, yo, like yesterday I didn't do this, and that. And today I got this, and that. I know I'm going to do it trash, but I'm going to try though, And I mean, I guess that's probably the best mindset to have is like, yo, just try. Try and do something, whatever you can do and you do. That's not even like do. Anyway, whatever you can do, you will do. And if you do it, so it's going to help somebody. So
does the ICN, is there a meaning behind Indie Creative Network?
Literally, I am an indie creative, an independent creative. And the Indie Creative Network basically is a network of independent creatives who partner together to create a bigger network. That was really it. It's just not like I
not
tried,
like a deep meaning behind it.
I tried to make it self-explanatory. Indie Creative Network,
and that's what it is. So give us some quick stats. How many shows are there on the network? How many views do we get accumulative?
So there are about 17 shows in the network right now that all post either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Those shows collectively get about 100,000 and change listens per year. We have been growing this network now, as I'll guess specifically the podcast. We've been growing this podcast network now for a better part of 2 years, uncovering data from spaces that just no one knows about. Had a little bit of a rant today about this. There's this thing called the Infinite Dial. So research study on podcasts and digital media. Today, a newsletter came out talking about that. And one of the things that he mentioned was, this podcast boom, podcasting is growing, but there's low retention, and, people aren't necessarily, like they're trying to say basically that like daily podcasts was kind of helping boost the brand awareness of what a podcast is. And I was like, but so we just gonna completely forget the fact that Black and brown people have been diving into podcasts every day. I mean, like there's literally a new podcast every single day. People launch, we have a grant program. People launching shit every day and signing up for the grants or whatever. I can see this, but if that's because I'm looking at it from my purview, I'm looking at it because I know that the stuff is there. A lot of these larger companies, they will disregard the fact that other people are involved in this. They disregard the fact that podcasting is growing from this predominantly white, well-off, socioeconomically based community to this vibrant culture that everyone is involved in, and Black and brown people have really helped push that forward, we work hard on the data. We work hard on making sure that all those people, those 100,000 people who listen to our shows on a regular basis, who care about our hosts, who are engaged in their content, we try to make sure that their needs are fulfilled digitally and hopefully moving forward physically as well.
I hope so too.
Yeah, that's honestly just the goal. We are diving into the study. I'll announce this to you. So my family's company, the Grazette Initiative, invested in the Indie Creative Network, specifically in the study of early 21st century digital storytellers. So from now until 2100, we are studying the data. Yeah, we're studying the data of how digital media and digital storytellers are growing, and how overall how they're utilizing it to do their storytelling for next, couple 80 years or so. So
yeah,
very excited about it.
Oh man.
Yeah, very excited about that. Very excited to help push the culture, podcast culture and digital media culture in general, and provide more tools and resources to communities around the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll be around to see. I'll be 107 years old.
I'll be old as shit, but hopefully, science will keep me alive.
Yeah, I mean, if they can freeze Walt Disney, they could freeze you.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can see everything happening. Yeah,
bring me back, bro. Let me see how this worked out in 2100. So.
Exactly. So you recently also announced that there's going to be services in Barbados.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your decision to make it an internationally recognized podcasting brand.
Yeah. So we didn't just move the podcast network. We moved our entire overall company, digital solutions company. The reason why we moved there is because coming up at the end of 2017, I really sat down and thought to myself, what do I want to do with this company? When people think about the Indie Creative Network, what do I want them to say? What I want them to think about us? And I really want them to see us as leaders. We have been, I personally have been involved in podcasting since 2012, for Christ's sake.
Yep.
I started an Indie Creative Network in 2015. And since then, I've been leading a team of podcasters, from all over, and helping them create, produce, distribute their shows and stuff like that. That is leadership. But our leadership, I'm very subtle. I don't like the whole bravado. Clearly I'm not in front of TV. We're in front of microphones. I don't like that side of things. I'm much more low key than that. And I would say that overall, I wanted to make a statement, and the statement was, we're going to lead digital media from Barbados and start in Barbados and showcase that the data that we've gotten thus far can help build this industry down there and industries like that around the world as well. We're looking to launch our brand ambassador program to help do that exact thing in all of the cities that we have shows in as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're just I'm not sure if it was more so about being international. We were already an international company itself. It was more so standing out and saying, look, we are in New York. I think, matter of fact, so I went on a show called Good Morning Barbados. It's basically like Good Morning America. And that was one of the questions. They were like, yo, why are you leaving New York City? People say New York is the mecca of podcasts. Why are you leaving New York City to come to Barbados to, do podcasting as well? So a space that it's even younger in Barbados, why? And it's because I want to teach. It's because I want to be a part of this community. I want this overall community. I want to speak on behalf of the industry. People like to wait for someone to say, oh yeah, you're in the industry now. Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, be in the industry. Show them why you're here.
So that's a job. That's my job. So, it's really just that, whatever. Even when the year started, we created a class called Creating a Sustainable Podcast. Teaching young podcasters, look, hey, you want to create a podcast? Sure, I want you to create a podcast, but let's create sustainable podcasts, things that not only that you cannot just only come on and talk with people on, but also you can make money off of. Also, you can teach other people. You can be the leader that you actually are as a podcaster. People podcasters be like anybody, teachers, writers.
It's so much. There's so many benefits to having this. Like, it really is. Like, I feel like I've become a better speaker in general because I'm like I'm getting better at being a communicator.
Yeah.
There's so many benefits.
There are tons of benefits and whatnot. And we try to. I teach this class Monday through Thursday from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We even chose that time period so that everyone in the world will be awake at the same time. Everyone is still awake from the Eastern Hemisphere to Western Hemisphere. We just try to choose a time and a space where everyone could be involved in this industry that we're all a part of. So.
Who are some of your creative inspirations?
Honestly, my only creative inspiration is Combat Jack. Rest in peace again. It's still...
That took me for a loop.
Yeah, you know what? It's still very difficult to talk about because... they always say like like give people their roses, before they pass. And I felt like every time I saw him, we always had conversations about, like what I felt like he did for not just me, but for other people like me who saw him as an inspiration, saw him as a mentor. I still feel like I didn't say enough. He passed away. I was like driving. This is crazy. I was driving, to the studio, matter of fact, and I heard the shit on the fucking news, and I'm like, what?
Because I think like 2 or 3 weeks before he passed, he put like this thing out. He's like, just letting you know, like I'm good, I'm fine. I recently read, I think it was a piece on Vulture. Someone basically did like a feature on him while he was going through his cancer treatment.
Yeah. That was a
really good piece.
I almost cried, actually.
It was really, really good. I think they stayed with him, until just the last time, like maybe like a day or two before he passed.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking. But he really did open so many doors for so many people in terms of podcasting and made it cool.
Yeah, exactly. And then for me, being in New York and watching like his journey. For me, I started out, like I said, in broadcast, but I was more so live broadcasting. I wanted to be on PNC radio. So he used to be on PNC radio. I wanted to be on PNC radio so bad. I'm like, yo, nah, Combat on PNG. I'm trying to be on PNG too. When Combat switched, or when they launched loudspeakers, I was like, yo, podcasting.
Shout out to Chris Morrow too.
Yeah.
He's cool as heck. I met him last year. I did like a whole feature on like the power of podcasting.
Yeah.
And Chris Morrow was just the coolest dude.
Yeah. I mean, anybody. I mean, and he also was a fan of Combat.
Yeah, he's like, they like met through Twitter. Yeah, because he's like, I really like your show.
Yeah. Honestly, like going back to this creative, for him, he showed me a path that, you can do what you want to do. There were so many similarities to me going from industry to industry, then diving into, and, while I was, I guess simultaneously, working for someone else, whatever, being an entrepreneur and running into and doing podcasting and broadcasting and, just being involved in the community. I learned all that from Combat Jack, from his inspiration, from his teachings, from his show, from his leadership. And, it's sad because, and I mean, maybe this part is selfish. Who cares? It's sad because like I really wanted to, really sit down with him and show him like, yo, look, this is what we created, and these are all people who learn through you. Like I really wish that we had more time. I mean, we always say that, but I don't know. And then for me, I've never had, I mean, I don't have any other real creative inspirations. And to have the only one that I really had just pass away at a young age as well, it's just like...
Colon cancer is a bitch.
The fuck?
Bitch. Yeah. Colon cancer. It's just like... I think that's the worst one. My mom passed away from colon cancer, metastatic.
Wow.
So it's like when I heard that he had colon cancer, I'm just like, keep going, like please keep fighting, because it's really, really difficult to get back from that. But a lot of it also comes from like your mindset. And they said he was like super cool, and he was like, I'm gonna get through this. He put up a bunch of videos on his Instagram page like before he passed of him like doing treatment. He's like, he just seems so positive.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you got to have a positive mindset. You know, my sister also had colon cancer. She survived it, but I remember like as a kid going to the hospital and seeing all these other children still like, you know, vibrant and moving around and stuff, whatever, just pushing through, knowing good and well that some of them just were not gonna make it, you know, and that shit is just,
especially if it's a child.
Yeah, just fuck cancer.
Straight up, all the time. Well, we talked about how people of color are seen in like the whole gamut of podcasting. How and when do you think people of color are finally going to get like their due in the world of podcasting? You know,
that's my job. You know, and I mean that's a huge mantle to take on, but that's the whole purpose. That's my passion purpose. You know, there was a, and I mean I don't want to misquote it. If you know the quote, definitely make sure that you hit up Jaina and let her know. But basically, there was this quote about media that said that black people are not white people. Black people are not basically white people. Like, we're not just another version of white people. We have our own likes, you know, have our own dislikes and stuff like that. You know, I don't feel like too many other companies, period, you know, give a rat's ass to even try to decipher what our community is looking for on a grand scale. You know, that's shown to me every day through data. That's shown to me every day through the choices governments make. That's shown to me through the choices that businesses make. People don't care, you know, and it's on us to take on that mantle of like, yo, look, for us to make it, we got to do for ourselves or whatnot. And, you know, that's kind of really the push itself of the Indie Creative Network, is because we independently are all working towards that same exact goal. You know, we speak on behalf of so many people that trust in us to be that
voice of the voiceless.
The voice of the voiceless. So, you know, it's just, I don't know if there's a time, a date, a memory, a moment that's gonna say, yeah, we all here. I just know that that's what we're all fighting for. That's what I'm definitely fighting for. And if anybody wants to join the cause, hell, hey,
join the ICN.
Join ICN. Come over to ICN.
Come join us.
Join us. Yes,
just like crawling out of the shadows. Yay, ICN. Yay. Woo! Awesome. So that was the end of the questions portion. And now is everybody's favorite portion of the show, unpopular opinions.
Yes.
Do you have one?
I do.
Oh, you go first.
Sweet potato pie is trash. Fucking trash. The fact that shit looks like pumpkin pie and you bite into that shit and it doesn't even taste like pumpkin pie and it's unsweetened. Fuck sweet potato pie and everybody who love it. I'm sorry if you love it. I love you too, but fuck you.
Wow, I am a little hurt because I really enjoy. Okay, after Thanksgiving, there was maybe a couple week period where I could not get enough of Patti LaBelle's sweet potato pie. It's so good with a nice dollop of cinnamon on the top. Like, you just put a little sprinkle of cinnamon, or you can get some like ice cream with it. Oh man. Sweet potato pie. No, it isn't. So what do you have, like a preference of pie?
I love pumpkin pie. I love
pumpkin
pie.
Well, you can't go wrong with pumpkin.
You can't.
Pumpkin is like the best taste ever.
I mean, I like apple pie too, but pumpkin pie is just it's simple. It's pumpkin. It is cinnamon. I mean, you honestly can't go wrong with it. So yeah, that's my unpopular opinion. I fucking hate sweet potato pie.
Wow. I'm so disappointed.
I think that's the purpose of this.
Yeah, it is true. I thought, like, I don't want to say all of them at once because I want to like save them for other episodes. So I guess I'll use the one that I was thinking of earlier in the week. Kenan Thompson really needs to leave SNL. He's always had to leave SNL, and he's never been funny.
Damn.
Like, Kenan Thompson is not funny at all. I was watching, well, I don't watch SNL really anymore, but there was a clip that I saw. They did like a Black Family Feud or whatever, and one of the castmates was Jordan Peele. Yeah. And they made this really meta joke about like how you have to move on from sketch comedy. Oh. And Kenan in his like Steve Harvey, he was like Steve Harvey, but breaking. I saw that meme. I saw that. But he was like breaking the fourth wall basically, and he was like, "Oh, so like you can't do sketch comedy forever?" And I'm like, "Damn." So maybe he's like self-aware. Because like if Kenan Thompson left SNL, let's be real, what else is he gonna do? When's the last time Kenan Thompson did something?
I mean,
Fat Albert.
I mean, honestly, this might be another unpopular opinion.
Go for it. We got time. We got time today.
I did not. I guess it's not really unpopular opinion. I didn't have cable, so I never watched Kenan and Kel. Ever.
Oh man!
So when people used to hype him up and like,
oh no, Kel was the funny one.
And I think that was like for me, I was probably like third grade. Don't date me. I was like third grade or whatnot, whatever. And I just was like, oh, this is kind of cool for a show I've never ever watched. So. People talk about Kenan and Kel. I'm like, he's kind of funny.
Kel was the funny one to me. Like, I obviously grew up watching Kenan and Kel and all that and stuff. And Kenan, he just doesn't have the range to be doing what he's doing and he's the cast member on SNL in the history of SNL. He's been on it the longest. And it's because I know the checks are good, but like, move on.
Yeah.
Especially
but to do what though? Like you said.
Exactly. Because all his impressions are Kenan doing an impression. Yeah. Like his Bill Cosby sounds like Kenan. His Steve Harvey sounds like Kenan. What else impressions does he do? That's kind of it. He does like, I don't know. Kenan's really not that. He's never been funny to me. Yeah. And the fact that he's still on SNL, like secure the bag, like do your thing, get them checks. Stack them chips, but you're not funny. Damn. And the fact that people like hype him up, they're like, oh no, like that's why he's been on for that long. No, Kenan has not been on for that long. He's been like, just because he's funny, he's been on for that long because he's the yes man. Like Lauren just like says do this and he does it.
Maybe he does like production behind the scenes that really
I'm sure he has like such a tenure where he can like write wherever he wants.
Yeah, he probably writes and he probably guides the new people and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, he's probably like tells them where like the bathroom is or where to get like the good stuff, like where to get the good snacks out of the vending machines at Studio 8H. Because he's never going to leave. You know, okay, how people always joke about like the super senior in high school who's way older, and then eventually they like, there was a kid, oh my God, there's a kid in my high school who actually was like, okay. It's kind of funny. Oh, damn. Okay, so I went to he was in my grade. So he should have he should have graduated high school in 2011 like the rest of us. Okay, so he like he came to our school in 7th grade from like Canada or something. Then I think he left in 10th grade to go back. Then he came back senior year, so like 2011, 2010. Mm-hmm. He like was not a good student. Like, you know, those kids who like they're just not. Yeah. They're not going to be anything. Like, not to be mean, but like he's going nowhere. Yeah. So like he didn't graduate with us. Then he didn't graduate the year after that. Then I got a text from my sister who is 4 years younger than me. So like when I left high school, she went into high school. She texted me. She said, "You know that kid Vahe is still here?" I'm like, "What?" Wow. Vahe had to. I don't think he even like technically passed. I think they just GED
after that, bro.
I think he just like they made him graduate when he was 21 because it's like you cannot be in high school anymore.
I legit told myself. I mean, I have never been left back in my life, and I didn't plan on for high school neither. I told myself that if I didn't graduate my 12th grade year, I was just gonna go do my GED because there was no way I was going back to that school. Period. And yeah, brother, I mean, look, if you could pass a little GED, keep it pushing. But otherwise, this is why I tell people that it's really important for people for vocational training and trade school and shit. Because, I mean, look, if you can add basic numbers and you can read basic books, you can kind of get by.
You don't need like exponential equations and functions and stuff. Some of this, like most of the stuff we learned in high school, I'm like, do I care about this? Square roots. Who gives a damn?
You could even say that shit about college too. I actually asked one of my friends. Well, we went on this. We went on like we all had like a little dinner date or whatever last week. And I asked everyone, you know, it's like, yo, like, do you feel like you do, like, the thing that you learned in college, you're using them in your day-to-day work life? And they said no. It was like 9 people. A lot of them said no.
I feel like I learned more outside of college.
I learned,
they didn't teach you life lessons.
Google University, even in the creation of any creative network, Google University has been the GOAT. Okay? And you know what? It is free 99.
Yeah.
Okay? There's everything on Google. So if you feel like when I graduated and I went to my first job, I walked in my creative director's office. She asked me to do something. I was like, okay, cool. Yes. I gave it a great head nods and all that. I went back to my desk. I was like, how to do blah, 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 blah. Search. And here we are.
And you did it.
Here we are. 8 years later, still pushing.
Let me think. I get like some of the stuff that I learned, like for my major, obviously I needed. But at the same time, like, okay, good thing like none of my interns know about my show. But they don't know the difference between through and through. And I'm like, alrighty.
A lot of people.
So like school really doesn't matter because you're still 22 years old and you don't know the difference between THROUT, GH and THRU.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that was a hard one. It was like a transcription that I had to do. And I'm like, what? Like you don't. How did you get this internship?
Yo, someone, I mean, so I've worked in, like I said, agencies. I've worked on publications as well. A lot of journalists cannot fucking write. There's a whole job for copywriters to make sure, there's a whole separate job to make sure that shit is spelt right and there's proper punctuation. What's it called? Copy editor?
Yep.
Whole position specifically for that.
Because some people just want to be like the face of like broadcasting, or like they want to be the person that like is visible, but they don't want to do the work. So you're like, oh, you don't know the difference between there, and there, but you want to make all this money.
But they do though.
But they do, and that's the injustice of this industry.
They do.
But yeah, Keenan is basically the super senior of SNL. He just doesn't know when to stop, and I wish he did, because he hasn't gotten funnier.
Yeah.
He's.
I mean, do you ever really get funnier?
I mean, with practice, like some people, like when you first start out, you're like, and you like get back, you hone in on your jokes, you maybe get like a mentor who helps you like really figure out what direction you want to go in. Keenan just has never been funny.
Damn.
He's just like, his selling point is like he gives the camera like a look, like kind of like a Dennis the Menace kind of thing.
So he has like facial.
His facial comedy is fine.
Yeah.
Because it's like he always knows like his mark.
I mean, do people really listen though? People listening skills be trash. So I mean, if you say a bunch of words and put like a funny face behind it, people can like,
he's so funny.
This is a social cue to laugh. So
yeah. So maybe he really isn't that funny. He's just like bamboozling all of us with his face.
The finesse for the bag. Oh my God. Can't get mad at that.
He's just like not funny. I just hopefully this is his last season. Like I say that I've been saying that every year for like 15 years, but
we slandered a lot of people and a lot of things in this episode. People are gonna be kind of upset.
Yeah, it's Michael Jackson, Kenan Thompson.
Disclaimer: I did not slander Michael Jackson. I purely stated that he is a legend of legends, and that I left my statement at that.
But then I chimed in and said, let us not forget James Brown did some of those things first.
Michael Jackson and James Brown, both legends in this grand community.
We need to remember that James Brown Sammy Davis Jr. did a lot of good stuff too. Sammy Davis Jr. was like, I feel like if it wasn't for him, like we maybe wouldn't have a Michael Jackson.
On a scale, if you had to put like a percentage, right? How many people that listen to your show and just young people like your age know who Sammy Davis Jr. is?
35%.
That's a high number for me. Who I was gonna go with like 15, 20.
Oh yeah, I might be a little generous.
People don't be doing their Googles, man. I mean, but then you got to know who to Google.
Oh, I recently watched like a Sammy Davis Jr. like tap routine. Mm-hmm. Man, the Rat Pack was so gifted. Like all of them.
People aren't gonna know.
They're not gonna know who the Rat Pack is. Like after that Quincy Jones interview, I was like, how many people you think are Googling Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando right now? Because they have no idea.
People are Googling who Quincy Jones. How many people know who Quincy Jones? That's what I'm saying.
Scarier That's what I'm saying. Sadder.
See what I'm saying? So people put a lot of emphasis on the fact that artists and younger generation don't really know who certain rappers are. People don't
look about the legends.
They know nothing. They know nothing. We know nothing. It's our job to teach them. That's about as far as I can say on that.
Like that one designer, Givenchy, he died a couple days ago, and they're like, oh, he made the dress from like Breakfast at Tiffany's, like the little black dress, and I'm like, people probably don't know who Audrey Hepburn is. People probably never saw Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I've never seen Breakfast at Tiffany's.
It's pretty good.
I don't. It's a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's like from the maybe like the 50s or 60s.
I was born in 88.
I was born in 93 and I still saw it.
See, but there we go. There we go.
Did you ever but there's also a lot of movies I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like really obscure movies. Uh-huh. Like I always reference this one cartoon that I would watch a lot as a child and no one knows what it is. It's called Cats Don't Dance. God damn it.
That's some shit that they be showing in Jersey on the regular Jersey.
No, Cats Don't Dance was so good. Jasmine Guy was in it. She played Whitley in A Different World. She played like the main character, like the main like there's two cats and one cat wanted to be an actor, so he went to Hollywood and he was in like this like production. It was basically like Noah's Ark. And like the main girl who was like the Noah type character was like she was supposed to be like a Shirley Temple type person. Yeah. But she was like really, really mean, and she actually wanted to like when they had like the scene where like the flood happened, she wanted to actually drown all the animals. Like it was okay, but the music was made by like Natalie Cole, so it was like it was so well done. No, Cats Don't Dance was like my movie.
I'm gonna Google.
You ever hear of Rockadoodle? Was that like another thing that people don't know, but I did?
You see, you pulling a lot of stuff from the great state of New Jersey.
No, Rockadoodle was universal.
What is that?
It was about a rooster who could play the guitar. No one else knows Rockadoodle. Hit me up in the DMs if you've seen Rockadoodle and Cats Don't Dance, because I feel like every time I bring it up, people are like, what is that? Only once did someone say that they saw Cats Don't Dance. So shout out to my friend Carissa, who also saw Cats Don't Dance.
Is they also from New Jersey too?
Yes.
All right. I'm just trying to say. I'm just trying to put a little context behind this here. Just trying to put a little context behind
New Jersey is like not its own planet. We still like do things that everyone does. Oh, right. Whatever. Well, that's all for And Friends with Jana Jefferson. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JNA Jefferson, and then also follow the show on Instagram at And Friends Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, the podcast app, and Google Play, where you can stay up to date on new episodes and when they become available. And if you want to be a guest host on the show, hit me up at andfriendsguest@gmail.com, and we'll keep in touch. Extreme thanks to my guest host for today, Wize Grazette, for being awesome and incredible, and for making the Indie Creative Network so we can actually have like a platform. I can't even imagine, like, if you had told me like a couple years ago, like, you're gonna have a podcast and you're gonna meet all these awesome people and it's gonna be a great time, I would have been like, oh, okay, like, whatever. How am I gonna do that?
Yeah.
But thank you to Wize, because like if I never connected with Wize, I wouldn't have this show.
Thank you for reaching out. And you know what? Like, I'm happy that we're able to provide this space to people, you know, and I'm happy, proud, and look forward to things that we're able to do in the future.
Good. Do you have anything else to promote?
Nah, yo, man. Hey, look, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the real Wize, Wize with a Z. I'm being a little different. Honestly, also we have grant programs. So if you are a podcaster, you have a web series, or you have any digital media project. Digital media project is a very vague term. So just overall, apply on ICN.dj. 5 letters, ICN.dj. With the grant program, what we're doing is we are providing affordable industry level tools and resources to digital media creators around the world. Does that mean if you live in Australia, can you apply? Yes, you can apply because you are living in the world. We are just trying to make sure that we're providing a space for people to get involved in digital media industries.
Woo!
To qualify, you have to have two of two things actually. You have to have a workforce, which means that the people on your cast, your executive team, and your production crew collectively needs to be 70% people of color. If you don't have that qualification, you
don't even bother.
You're not going to qualify. Also, your production brand or the brand for you, what you're applying for, cannot make more than $100,000 per year. That fits a lot of people because we all kind of broke out here. So,
ain't that the truth?
Again, apply to the Indie Creative Grants. We are trying to make opportunities for everyone, literally.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And I have 3 things. Well, one thing that is an announcement, and the other 2 are not. Okay, so I was asked to be in a panel for women in journalism and creative content for the upcoming DAZE Summit, DAZE.
Hey.
The DAZE Summit aims to provide scholarships, networking opportunities, and all these cool things for high school seniors. And I love to educate the youth and empower the youth. So if you're interested, hit up dazesummit.com. If you don't know how to spell summit,
Google it.
Then you should go to Google and do it. But yeah, it's happening April 7th at 1 p.m. in New York City. Location is still TBA, but that would be really cool if you came and supported your girl.
Yes.
And then it's Women's History Month. Shout out to the ladies. So, Wize, who's a woman who's influenced you today, and who you are today, and why?
So the person who influenced me is the majority owner of the Indie Creative Network, my mother, Sandra Richards. She has influenced me in ways, and to be the person that you see today. I like to call her the beacon of light, because she always finds some way, somehow, to be positive in situations where I would be like, I ain't even dealing with this shit. But yeah, shout out to my mama, the woman of the planet for me.
Yes. And then I'm going to shout out my mama as well. Joanne Stern Jefferson was the best woman that ever walked. Sorry, Wize. You got your opinion, but I got mine. She was a single mom. Did the damn thing, helped provide for me and my sister. It was the 3 of us for a very long time. And I know she'd be so happy to hear this podcast. I feel like she would be my best friend and be like, girl, you sounded great. Yeah, so shout out to moms all over the world for providing for all of us. And last shout out is to our good old pal, Donald J. Trump. Wize, what do you think that Trump should do this week instead of tweet? Any activity at all?
Fuck himself. How about that?
Ow!
Ba-dum,
I think instead of tweet this week, see, now I blocked him on Twitter, so I don't even know what I could say. He's so toxic. It feels good to go on the site and not know what's going on with him. But I think instead of tweet, because I know he's probably getting. Oh, didn't he fire somebody on Twitter today?
Yeah, he fired the
Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Tillerson, and turned him in and made that person the person who he replaced him with is the ex-CIA head. So.
So he probably is oh, make sure that you lie for me. I bet. So I guess instead of tweet, maybe he should I I don't even know. Just like get a handle on your men because everyone's quitting. Like that one pretty woman quit in his like cabinet. Hope Hicks. All I know is that she's pretty, and someone alluded to the fact that somebody in the White House is sleeping with everybody, and I bet it was Hope Hicks. I bet it was Hope Hicks, unfortunately, because she just seemed like, you know, I'm not here to bash women, like do what you want with your body, but she did appear to be that type of girl. Wow. So yeah, just get a handle on your men. Like don't tweet about them. Maybe talk to them in private and be like, so you're going to be replaced. Yeah, that was all for And Friends. Tune in 2 weeks. We'll be back with more fun. Awesome. Later.